Hey everyone, Dan at Ochiko Bushcraft. Today we are going to make a good old-fashioned spear. You might think, well, you just sharpen a stick, right? Well, kind of. Just like everything else, there's a right way to do something and a wrong way to do something. So I'm going to take you guys through the process of making a spear out here, doing it the right way, and telling you and showing you some of the multi-use ways that you can use a spear for more than just a spear. So let's talk wood. Here in the Ochiko Mountains, along almost every stream, which the Ochikos are just filled with creeks and streams, is willow. I got some right here next to me and right behind me, right along the creek. Willow makes a fantastic spear. When you're making a spear, you don't want to get something that's brittle, been laying on the ground, it's got brittle, so if you thrust with it, it's just going to buckle in the middle and snap. You're better off on getting something that still has some life in it. A lot of these willows along here, still some of them are dead and will snap, the real brittle, others have life in them. I'm going to go harvest a willow pole right now. The other thing is, you want to cut your pole about a foot taller than you are. So I'm 5'10", so my pole is roughly going to be about 7 feet long. So just figure, hold your hand up above your head and cut it to the height of your hand. So this be foot, maybe foot and a half taller than you are. And 1 to 2 inch diameter. You want it stout so that if you have to thrust into something, you know, I had a badger come after me once many years ago. So a spear is a great self-defense tool. You want it stout enough that it's not going to break if you miss and you hit a rock or something. And again, that's why we want the greener wood, thicker, and we're gonna, of course, I'll show you how to fire harden the point. So let's go get a piece. Okay, so I got me a nice piece cut off. It's probably 9 or 10 feet tall right now, but the upper end we're going to saw off. I'm going to trim all these branches off. Again, it's a nice fat diameter. So just take my knife, start trimming the branches off. Like so. Okay, got a few more branches I'm going to trim off on that. I'm going to move you guys up to a different location where I'm going to get a fire going while we're carving the point, and that way I can fire harden it. Alright, I got a fire laid here behind me. I just want to get that burning, and then I got a bunch of fat wood I'm going to throw on there, so this is burning hot by the time we come back to it, and we'll fire harden that point. Okay, I got some big chunks of fat wood sitting here, so as soon as that takes off and starts going good, we'll go over here and carve that point. Let me pause you guys for a minute while I grab some more dry stuff and get this built up a little bit. Okay guys, I got a good flame in there now, and I've got some pieces of fat wood about that big around inside there, so I'm gonna let that burn. We're gonna go over here and start carving us a spear. Okay, got my Ochiko bush knife with me, and we're gonna put a point on this about 6 inches long. Now the thing you absolutely do not want to do is make your point too thin. If you get a long thin point on it, for example, well, got some old wood here, but if you get a long skinny point on it like that, the first time that you hit something, see that the whole tip just broke off. You want to keep your point fairly thick, nice 6-inch gradual slope. So here we go. We'll start working on this. I'm trying to get this at an angle where you can see. I got one big knot right here. I'm gonna have to work around. See if I can get that off there right now. There we go. Okay, so I got me an area debarked about 6 inches long. And that's what I want, because I'm going to fire harden that. Now I'm going to gradually take this down to a point, and then I'm going to steepen it right here about the past inch so that it looks like a bullet at the last inch. And again, I don't want to get that too thin. So I'm just going to take my time. Narrow this down. Okay, I'm going to start working on that last 1.5 inches or so now down here. Again, kind of awkward. I'm trying to keep this at an angle that you guys can see out and not get all tangled up behind me here. So if you see what I'm doing, I'm working like this last inch or so down to a point right here. I've got this upper part as thin as I want it to be. So I want this to be strong. There we go. I'll show you guys this here in just a second. Okay. Let's move this around so I can try to show you guys exactly what I've done here. Okay, I've got about, roughly we'll say 6 inches cleared off because we're going to fire harden this point. But what I've done is I've pretty much just taken this last 1.5 inches or so and gently sloped it down to a point. So there's a lot of thickness in this point. It's sharp enough with a good thrust to penetrate. I mean, if I fell on this, for example, I'd be in a world hurt. So it's sharp enough to penetrate, and we're gonna get it hard. Right now it's soft. I can take my fingernail or my thumbnail and I can make a nice indentation into the wood. We're gonna get this hard to where my thumbnail will not go in there. But again, we've got a point that's shaped like a bullet. This is what I call a bullet point. And the tip is about this last, we'll call it 2 inches. A gentle slope that stays thick so that it's strong. But again, we have a point right here. We have a point, and it is a sharp point, but it's not gonna break. So now that fire is roaring down there. So let's clean this up just a little more, and then we'll go start fire hardening this. So I'll put it back over here. That's supporting the weight. Makes it a little easier. Just gonna clean up some of this stuff off the back here a little bit, where that other knot is. There we go. Get that other knot off there. Nice. And we'll just clean this point up just a little more. Nice. I don't want to take too much off. I got a little shoulder right here from the knot. I want to take off. There we go. That's looking good. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna leave it just like that. So I've got a good point on there, and it's thick, and I got a good 6 inches now up here. So we're gonna go down to the fire, and I'll show you how to fire harden this. Okay, I'm trying to get you guys to where the sun's not gonna white out the camera. I don't want to get the point in the fire. I don't want to burn this. I want to get it hot. I want to get it hot and have it start hardening the moisture that's inside here. Start drying it out and hardening it up and making those pores close up tight and make this hard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get on this side of the flame because the flame is blowing that way. And I'm just going to hold it a couple inches from the flame, and I'm going to turn it. And you'll be able to tell when it's done, because right now this is soft and my thumbnail will push in here really easy. When I can no longer push my thumbnail into here, this is dry and hard, then that will be hardened. So from where you're at, I'm sure you can't see it, but there's steam coming out of the wood. The wood is drying. So this is going to take me a few minutes. So I'm just going to keep slowly turning it and letting the outside get dry and get hard. It might get a little bit discolored, but I'm not going to touch the flames. I'm not going to let it catch fire or turn black. I'm just going to take my time and work on that and fire harden it. So I've been doing this for a couple minutes now, and it is getting harder. It's not all the way done yet, but right now I can tell just the difference. I'm having to push hard to get my thumbnail to get very slight penetration. So I'm going to keep working on this again, and when that outside is just nice and hard and my thumbnail will no longer penetrate, we'll have it. All right, let's see what we got here. There we go. And you see the point is just a little bit discolored there. Started to turn brown just a little. But right now, all that's doing is bending my thumbnail back. I can no longer get my thumb to penetrate that point. I'm pushing as hard as I can. Yep, it won't even make the slightest indentation. It's bending my thumbnail back. So that's hard. That is hard, and that has got a nice point on it. So this is ready to go. Now I know there's ways to do this. You can use candle wax or chapstick or something and rub it in to protect the wood, but I'm doing this with the idea that I don't have anything with me like that. I got my knife, got my ferro rod, I got just a basic survival kit, and I need a spear and a walking stick, because this is going to be both. So before we go do a little demo with this, I remember I said multi-purpose item. So I'm out here and I'm going to be walking up some steep hillsides and there's places where the snow is deep and I'm going to break through, and I'm going to cross a log down here pretty soon. This is going to be my third leg. It's going to be my walking stick. On one end, I've got a point. It's a spear, so it becomes a weapon immediately. But while I'm walking, it's a simple walking stick. Other thing I can do, I could have done this while it was soft. We'll do it up here. It doesn't have to be down here. We'll do it up here where there's still bark. Is I can cut. Again, I'm trying to do this where you guys can see. Making just a little tiny V-notch. Nothing fancy. It doesn't have to be very deep. Okay. You see that little notch I got right there? It's now going to lift my pot in and out of the fire. My kettle, whatever I'm cooking with. I'm going to reach in, put the bale handle through here, lift it up, take it out of the fire, check my food, set it back in the fire. So now it's a walking walking stick. It is a spear, and it is a pot lifter. Shove this end down or the back end down into the snow, put a weight on it, put a fork underneath this, and now I can just let this sit with my pot hanging down here into the flames and use this as a cooking pole. So I can use it as a pot lifter, I can use it as a cooking pole, I can use it as a walking stick, I can use it as a spear, and this little V that I just made right here, perfect place to tie some cordage, bank line, make a little loop on my bank line, attach my fishing line to that, and I have a fishing pole. So now we have a walking stick, we have a spear for self-defense and hunting, we have something to lift the pot in and out of the fire with, or we have a cooking pole. Again, weight this end down, put a fork stick under it, just hang my pot right here. It will not fall. This V is going to hold it in place and let my lunch cook. And my lunch just might be a fish, because I'm going to tie some line right here in this V so it can't slide up off the end, and hold it out, because it's a good 7 feet long, over this little creek and catch a mountain trout. So this spear is now a multi-purpose item. Let's go show you guys how I might use this now as I'm traveling through the backcountry. So there's actually quite a few places out here. The creeks are running really high right now, and the only way back and forth across them is on logs. And there's one place where I cross the creek, and the log is a good 5 or 6 feet above the creek. So having a pole to help me balance and help me traverse crossing these streams out here, and if I don't have a log and I need to wade across, this becomes my third leg to lean my weight on and to balance myself and to keep me from falling in that water. So it's going to keep me from falling off a log. It's going to keep me from falling down a steep hill. It's going to keep me from falling in the water. And of course, you know, I've showed you just a few of the multi-purpose items: lifting our pot out of the fire, cooking, using it for cooking, fishing pole. It's going to be my walking staff wherever I go. But in a scenario where I might need it, it is a hunting spear or a self-defense spear, and I banged it through the snow into the rocks as hard as I could. I got just a little bit of fraying on the tip, but I've still got a good tip. And since the rocks aren't going to attack me, but something a little softer is, there we go. And I got my point back that quick and easy. And I can go back up here to the fire and run that around a couple more turns, harden that point up again. So there it is, guys. Multi-purpose survival spear. Again, it is something that is simple to make, but there's a wrong way to do things and a right way to do things. And what I've tried to do today is show you guys the right way. So next time you're out for a hike and you got some willow or some other, you know, long poles like this where you can get a good 7 foot or so cut limb, try making you one of these spears and try using it for some of the tasks that I mentioned and see what you think. Dan at Ochoco Bushcraft. Take care, everyone.